so loud on my end.
Where did that intro come from? I was not informed of this intro change.
I made that forever ago, and I don't remember if we've ever used it or not. And I just saw it in the in the media assets, and I was like, let me use this. Let me see what happens. And of course, I'm at like 100 volume here, so that was incredibly loud. Oh my goodness! Listen, we have to modernize, champ, and by modernize I mean experiment.
Well, at least get the logo right next time.
I know this is off topic. This is off topic, but I just some breaking news.
Okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning from
Are you fucking with me?
On this is
shit.
On January 5th. They are resigning.
Send me the link. Or I'll look it up too. What?
I got a CNBC link. You just pull it up. Type MTG. Resign.
Magic the Gathering.
Thank you. Magic the Gathering is resigning from card games.
I wish they would, honestly. They just adding anything into
literally my boss just messaged me and said Marjorie Taylor Greene's resigning.
This is incredible. What time the timing of this is insane.
Literally 38 minutes ago is when the CNBC article went live.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Nothing to do with the topic of today.
MTG announces she's resigning from Congress after split with Trump. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene will resign from Congress in January. The Republican firebrand announced on Friday, following her high-profile public falling out with Donald Trump over the Epstein files. I have too much self-respect and dignity, love my family way too much, and do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president we all fought for, only to fight with and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms. It's all so absurd and completely unserious, she added. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. Her final day of office will be January 5th, she added, well before 2026. Wow, oh my God, 2026 midterm election. The Independent has contacted the White House for comment. Greene, once of the president's closest allies and biggest supporters in Congress, has been locked in a heated public spat with Trump in recent days over a variety of issues ranging from healthcare to affordability. None have provoked Trump's ire, however, like her stance on Epstein scandal. Earlier this month, she accused Trump of a huge miscalculation by not doing more to release the government's remaining Epstein files, prompting Trump to brand a Georgian Republican a ranting lunatic and announced he would support a primary challenge against her. Greene was once also one of small groups of Republicans in the House who allowed a proposal to move forward to force the government to release more Epstein files. This paved the way for an outpouring of pressure that accumulated in Trump this week, signing a bill to free up the files after months of resistance and attacking the GOP supporters of the effort as stupid. The entire process marked a rare rebellion from within the party. And there she is. That's bananas.
Breaking news.
I did not expect that at all.
Literally, as we went live, my phone vibrated and it was my boss going, Marjorie Taylor Greene's resigning.
Yeah. Jeez Louise. Yeah. Well, yeah, Ash, we're supposed to be talking about dating under capitalism.
Which we are dating under capitalism, me and Ivan.
Yeah. That's how I was going to start the podcast, was you saying.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Dating under capitalism be like due economic hardships, we must do to divorce and possibly domestic violence. Dating under communism be like, we are so happy our family has a future. I never knew that was what Cobra Commander looked like, but you know what? Now we know. How the show evolves. Jeez Louise. So what do you think? So like low key, I'm kind of like, are they just resigning because of the pressure from the president, or like, do you think this could be an indication of like, because I've made this prediction before that as the Overton window is shifting, the Democrats are becoming more right wing, more Republicans will start to move towards the Democrats, or be more neoliberal. Well, while the actual Republican base becomes more radicalized. So like, do you think this is? Go ahead.
I was like, a lot of the Democrats now are, if you look at policies, they are very much where Bush era Democrats were. Like current Democrats are just Bush era Republicans. That's what I meant to say. So as the Overton window shifts further and further to the right, they're like, well, I'm comfortable with where we were then, but I'm not necessarily comfortable where we are now. And I know for a fact, because what's her name? Lauren Boebert
Mm-hmm.
said that she had personally received a call from Donald Trump saying, "Hey, change your vote on the Epstein release." So I imagine someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene also got a call like that, and they're at kind of a crossroads where it's like you either support this or you don't. Ivan, goodbye.
Yeah, bye, Ivan.
But it's like you either support this or you don't, and I gotta say, pedophilia, I am gonna say, is a lot of people's breaking point. I would hope. And I imagine that's where people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, as awful as they are as individuals in much respect, are definitely not going to be on board with that. So there is going to be a split. I don't know that they're going to say they're going to be Democrats, but they're definitely more comfortable with Democratic positions because it's Bush era Republican in terms of policy. They probably won't outright say I'm a Democrat now, but they're going to be more comfortable with it.
Right. No, that totally makes sense.
I guess from my own experiences of having a parent who felt like QAnon, this just falls really in line. Like for me, Marjorie Taylor Greene has always been kind of in that sphere of like QAnon people. And one of the things like my mom used to constantly talk about was the Epstein files.
I'll get to it.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I think it just falls in line with what what Marjorie Taylor Greene like truly like believes in with all these things. So, I don't like them; they're a bad person. But one of the things QAnon people very much focus in on is like the save the children kind of thing. So it falls in line.
And you can't be like save the children and then support someone that's on a list of people harming children. Like that is it's too big of a contradiction. There's always contradictions within that line of thinking, but it's too big of a contradiction.
Exactly.
No, for sure. But the real question is, will Marjorie Taylor Greene be able to find love under capitalism?
Depends on if they go to a CrossFit gym.
Elaborate.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is known for doing CrossFit, which is the not controversial take. CrossFit does nothing for you.
Isn't it really bad for you?
It's doing the workout in the worst possible way to where you're not actually getting any gains, but it looks like you are.
So it's all glam, but like there's no okay.
So like if you've ever seen it, you'll see there's actually a video of her specifically doing it where it's like a push-up, but so when you're doing a push-up, holy fuck, dude. Pull up. You grab it, ideally a wide stance, and you pull up. You get the bar to about your chest level, and you stretch your back as much as you can. But with CrossFit, you go like this, and then you swing out, and you kind of do this. So you can do more reps, but you're not actually stretching the muscle properly. So you don't actually get any stronger. But when you post it online and on videos, it looks like you're doing a lot more because you tire yourself out really quickly. It's the same thing as like working out at the gym for 3 hours versus 30 minutes at high intensity. Yeah, you might feel like you're doing more when it's 3 hours, but you get more gains from a 30-minute workout. I used to work out all the time. This is my qualifications. I have become lazy in
typical communist
age. Typical communist. I need to start working out again. Please, hey chat, bully me to work out again so I can be an Adonis.
You already are, BB.
Thank you. That's why we're dating. Under capitalism.
I'm the third wheel here.
You are. Yeah. You're the chaperone.
Nico, I need you to leave for a second.
No, Nico must stay with me. It's not polite to for me to be left alone with Cruz.
Okay.
What were you saying, bro?
This is what I deal with as the third wheel.
Just goofiness. Well,
Continue your thought.
Anyway, it wasn't my thought. It was your thought.
You started it.
No, I asked you if Marjorie's going to find love under capitalism.
And I said only if they're in CrossFit. So now it's your turn to respond. This is how conversation works. Everyone, communists don't know how to talk.
Are
to
we
each
professionally?
other.
They don't. They really don't. And I'm tired of it, bro.
That's an entire episode in on itself.
I still need to make that video where I'm like, I don't take TikTok beef seriously or communists seriously because they're all like me and Shaboingaloing versus Glorbion 5 are arguing.
No, you know what? You know what Ivan said to me one day? What? Ivan messaged me and goes, I'm starting to understand why you don't post on TikTok or interact on TikTok as much as some of the rest of us. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm glad you're finally on my wavelength.
It's the worst, bro. People are the worst, and everyone has the worst takes, but we have the best takes. And if you want more of the best takes, join the collective Discord. QR code on the screen, which if I did it and flipped it correctly, it's this way on the YouTube, but also it might be this way on the YouTube.
On my screen,
who knows?
On my screen, it's over here.
Right here. So for me, it's over there too. But all right, so Nico's the odd one out. But I'd have to actually open up YouTube and look at it.
It's on the screen.
We wanted to talk about like romance and dating in capitalism, the commodification of it, the commodification of relationships, and their dynamics or whatever. And as always, as you can tell, we are the most organized and most responsible and most professional podcast in the world. So we've clearly all prepared for this conversation. So an anonymous user, I won't say who.
I have prepared through life experience.
Right. Anonymous user, I won't say who. Ash sent me a video of somebody who submitted something to them as sort of like a peacock ritual. Like this is the peak male form under.
We are all female birds.
Let's break this down, right? Like, why would someone send something like that? Like you could argue that, like, sure, they're trying to be like eccentric and they're trying to stand out, funny, quirky, LOL, so random. But like, we could also just talk about sort of like the deeper, like, blatant sexuality of it, or at least its attempt to, as like the first introduction of like, this is me to you. It's pretty crazy. Like, what happened to hello? What happened to how are you? Not to sound like a conservative pundit, but like, damn.
Well, I mean, like, outside of capitalism, communism for a second, like the internet really changed that. Just the existence of the internet, because one, the internet is relatively anonymous, so you can kind of just send whatever you want to someone else with very little repercussions, outside of maybe public shaming, which is effectively what just happened. And two, in the instance where like a behavior like that does get a response, where it's like, oh, that was kind of funny, let me talk to this person, because ultimately the response is what you're looking for. Whether it's good or bad, you're trying to get a response. Same thing with like if you're doing like a prank channel or just making a rage bait on TikTok, you're looking for that attention. And something like that, which, to reinforce my point, it does get attention, right? We just showed it. It got attention. So someone, right. The thought is like, oh, okay, well, theoretically, someone might be like, that person's kind of funny. Let me hit him. Right. Mm-hmm. Cast a wide net, hope you catch a fish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the internet and capitalism, under capitalism, has turned it into.
Absolutely. We definitely also, we still live in the wake of some of the original observations that Marx and Engels made back in the day, of how like the family is structured, and usually the family is structured where you have the patriarch on the forefront, the male who essentially, while they are a victim of the bourgeois, they in their own realm control their family in a microcosm essentially of capitalism.
Mhm.
That it's sort of their way or the highway. I know I think it was James Connolly also had made some remarks that essentially that women are slaves to men, while men are slaves to the bourgeois. I see you smiling a little bit, Nico, so I think I got that right. But it even in like this funny instance, right, of like someone being like a goofball on a dating app. I mean, we see so much of it now in dating culture, particularly like somebody will be online, and it happens mostly to women and femme presenting people. It has happened to men, but not the same scale where you'll go into a conversation and you'll be like, what's your favorite color? And they'll be like, red. Now send me nudes. And it like immediately becomes like people are so isolated because of capitalism and that alienation that comes with it, that they are so desperate to find culture and connection, and sexuality with people that they're willing to or don't know how to respect boundaries. And I'm sorry, when I say willing to, I mean like willing to break those boundaries, with anybody and cast a wide net, like Cruz was saying, in order to be satiated in some type of way.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of this stuff, like what you're mentioning, it boils down to a lot of dating. From what I can see, I'll be honest, I've been in a relationship for 10 years. So, dating's kind of feels different for me than what other people have dealt with, but it's transactional. They as soon as they start interacting with someone, even if they're doing like a wide net, it's transactional. I gave you something. What are you going to give me in return?
Yeah, exactly. And primarily it has to do with finances.
Mm-hmm.
Finances is a huge thing. I've seen many relationships crash and burn when somebody becomes disabled or somebody loses their income. People leave, people start to show their true colors very quickly. If they didn't like their partner, but they were sort of hiding it under kind of like a guise, it will just kind of all become undone. In my personal experience, I was in a relationship at a high school for about 6 years, and it was an abusive relationship. I'm not. I was gonna say that like it was an abusive relationship going both ways, 100%. But it really didn't become like a much more obvious issue until the other person suddenly quit their job, and then like all like the anger, resentment on both ends just exploded. Basically,
Yeah.
like people definitely shack up to pay rent. And let's see what we here. We got some comments.
I was looking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just reading the comment. Go ahead.
I was saying I was looking for a quote in on the origin of family private property in the state by Engels. I couldn't find it. It's too long a text for me to just quickly read through at the moment. I highly recommend everyone read that one. But he talks about marriage under bourgeois society, and he effectively says under bourgeois marital standards, the man becomes the bourgeois of the household. Whether or not they are proletarian in society, in the household, they are bourgeois.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the arrangement that we have with marriage.
We have a decent amount of people on YouTube right now, so I do want to interrupt real quick and show this off. We have a comrade here. Where did my file go? It's missing. Oh, there we go. It's loading. Yeah, so we have a comrade here who is in need of some financial aid, some mutual aid. They need $610 by November 24th, or they and their family, including their children, are going to be evicted. So if anyone has any money, I'm going to put the Cash App up as well, in order to basically try to help this person out. Or just pause the screen and follow them here on TikTok. You'll find the video. You'll find the Cash App. But they're a supporter of Ash, so therefore a supporter of the show. So we want to support them as much as we can. Thank you, Janet. And I will do that as another reminder as we go on.
Probably put it up at the very end of the show too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, whoops. There we go.
Oops.
Boom. Okay. But say the last part of your point, Cruz, because I was going to say something and then I tried to do this real quick.
I mean, that was more or less of that particular point. I'll get into some other points later. But like Engels is specifically saying that bourgeois marriage, especially pretty much in various societies, is male centric and is focusing on the private property and private ownership of men. Like men's last name is the one that gets transferred over in a good chunk of societies, not in all of them, but in a good chunk of them, especially under capitalism. And as capitalism developed further and further, even more so as feudalism developed further and further, it became more male oriented. And then you have like he talks about a lot of like arranged marriages, business oriented marriages, the marriages of nobility under feudalism, and then just the puritanical standards that Western societies tend to have as a result of all of these additional factors. So that book in particular talks about like liberation of marriage. He has a bit more of a cynical view of marriage than I think many of us might have in the modern day. But again, it's like 110 years ago that he wrote the thing. So like we're allowed to evolve a little bit.
It's true, but it's also true, despite the age and how long ago that these things were not first commented on, but commented on in a Marxist sense. They have their roots going back, almost 1,000 years. I mean, even the institution of Christian marriage, while peasantry were allowed to engage in that, really the primary desire of such an institution was to form military alliances to create good relationships between dynasties. To these monarchs would have children in order to sell them off, essentially, to different families.
And in a way, if you think about it, like one of the selling points of capitalism, like bourgeois revolution to the peasantry, was the idea of like social mobility, but also the idea of expanding certain privileges that the nobility had that the peasantry did not have, such as marriage. Like a lot of peasant marriages, or how we think about marriage today, like the elaborate ceremonies that go with it, the money that's spent into it. The wedding industry is huge. Bridal showers and such, like we pour so much money into it to feel as if we are royalty when we get married. And that was limited to the nobility under feudalism, and capitalism, as it was developing, sort of sold it as like, hey, be the king of your own castle. You can do all this stuff that the nobility does and stuff like that. Was like kind of one of the original selling points.
And we still go ahead.
Was the intention? I mean, one of the things like you're talking about, Engels, I really recommend if you read that book to follow it up with Caliban and the Witch by Silvia Federici.
Yeah.
It talks about distinctly like marriage in that sense was used because the peasantry was seeing themselves with the ability to own land, to own property. And the best way for them to control that and make sure that got passed on to a male son was to adopt marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage became commonplace for them to be able to have free labor from the woman without any actual rights for themselves, but make sure that that child that woman had would continue the man's legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
There's another book I'm going to bring up, but I'm going to bring it up a little bit later because I feel like it's going to naturally come up in conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
As a teaser.
What I was going to say was, when you said like, be the king of your own castle or whatever, it very much exists today, especially in like the manosphere. And if people don't really know what the manosphere is, it's this sort of this, I'm going to call it internet culture, but it's outside the internet as well. It's sort of this culture of like newfound motivation towards the patriarchy and like men's domination of the world, the individual in the self. And one of the things that is talked about a lot in like the manosphere, especially I've seen as like as I've seen through as like a person of color, where a lot of us who, you know, are Americanized or grow up in the West are sort of, you know, while we live in a conjunction of like being held down by white supremacy, one of the things that white supremacy uses to ingratiate itself is patriarchy, right? So I see a lot of like, even within my own culture, Americanized Latinos, I see this sort of concept of like when you start talking to when you talk to other guys, right, other mass presenting people about dating, you almost always will get to the conversation of 50-50. And it's sort of this concept that like as a man, you and I've heard different iterations of it, but as a man, you can't really call yourself a man if you go 50-50, presumably with a woman, so like paying bills or for dates and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Or it's the opposite, where you should go 50-50 because a woman has to, you know, put out financially in some type of way, even if you have the money, because you have to see if she's just trying to basically take advantage of you. And then on the opposite end, I've also seen and heard in conversations like, you know, women who do subscribe to the manosphere, whether they, you know, consciously or not, say things like, I can't be with a person if we go 50-50. And there's this a huge conversation around this concept of like, what can someone financially provide for me? And it's very much similar in how, who's going to build the castle with me, you know, who's going to do this, my own little dynasty. But you don't have a dynasty, you have an LLC. Like, you're not like, we're all poor, bro. Like, we ain't going nowhere. This is all credit. This is all fake.
We all suffer from that mentality. Like, one of my earliest relationships actually ended because I didn't make enough money as a man. And jokes on her, I make more money than that guy did now. And but like it was a very real like eye opener for me, because up until that moment, I would have considered her very progressive for as the terminology, where it's like, you know, it wasn't unheard of for us to split the bill on things like that, or oh, I pay for one date, she paid for another, and things like that. But then at one point she was just kind of like, oh, well, this guy makes more money than me, or makes more money than you and can provide for me, and I'm going to go with him instead. And I was like, oh, well, shit. Like, but it affects all of us, you know, and yeah, that's kind of the end of that thought.
No, you were taught, like y'all are mentioning this. This makes me think about, I was one time hanging out with a friend at a bar, and this guy that we all knew came up to us and very interested in my friend. You know, he knew that I was with my partner, and he comes up to me and he's just like, you know why women get paid less than men? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, it's because y'all get your money back by men buying you free beers while you're at the bar.
Damn, how much beer are you guys drinking?
I was just like, you truly cannot think that's equivalent.
That's not even remotely equivalent, but that does lead into another subsect of what happens under capitalism. I'm sure most of us are familiar with the term like, if the product, if what is being sold is free, then you are the product. And like, if you look at a lot of bars and they have like ladies' nights, right? The women get in for free. It's because women are the product. They're trying to draw men in to pay for alcohol, and women are ultimately the product. The commodity is the product, not the alcohol they're buying. But that's how our society, it becomes very, you said it before, Nico, but it's very transactional in how we date and how we interact with each other, men versus women.
Right.
and everything in between.
And one of the things that Marx wrote about pretty extensively in sort of angles is that basically, like, so like, what's the point, right? Like, what is the point of getting these poor people to date each other? Well, if you look at the concept and understand the concept of like the nuclear family, right? It's the same thing. Like, families are units. That's what the capitalist, the bourgeoisie says. They want people to be as grouped in their own little individual spaces, and then you can sell them more stuff. A family needs 2 cars. A family needs
sometimes 3.
Yeah, a family needs their own 4-story house, whatever. Who the hell has 3 cars?
So what happens there is you have one for the husband, one for the wife, and then if when the child turns 16, there's an expectation that they have their own car. At least in the circles that I grew up in, right? Like, obviously we have very different experiences in life, but there was an expectation that the kid would have their own car at 16.
I could not imagine buying a child a vehicle.
And then it gets even worse if you have multiple children, right? Then you have so my family didn't quite follow it the same way. Like, it spread out a lot. Or the way it was for me is my dad showed up with a car one day and he was like, "Hey, happy 7." I got my driver's license a little late. Fun fact about Compañero Cruz is I did not get my driver's license at 16. I got it at 17.
Wow.
And my dad showed up on my 17th birthday. He's like, "Hey, here's a new car. By the way, you have car payments now. You better get a job."
Oh,
because you got bills to pay now. Mm-hmm. But that's how it worked with my sisters. But at one point when we were all living together, there were 5 cars. Because we all had an individual car. Mm-hmm. Granted, my parents didn't have to pay for those cars. They paid the down payment for us to get it, but we had to pay for the payments ourselves. But I had many acquaintances where the parents bought them the car outright. I grew up in a relatively well-off area. Not all of them, but there was a good chunk of people that were very well off. So everyone had their own individual car.
Real quick, supposedly we got in the comments here some Peruvian communists from Formación Obrera. So that's cool. Hello. We're talking about dating.
Hola.
And the family unit. So, hope you find that interesting. But I just wanted to give them.
Obviously, I don't have any. What's the word? I don't know how dating works in like Peru, right? Like, I don't know if it all translates the same way.
Give us some insights. That'd be interesting. What is dating like in Peru? What were you going to say?
High altitude.
I was just going to say I have seen them in Ash's Live. They are a very principled comrade in org. Yeah, so it's nice to see them here.
Go on our QR code over here. Join our Discord. Yapathon 9000.
Let's chat. There are Spanish speakers in our Discord.
There are.
Well. I'm not one of them, despite my name.
I don't know, Coco. What do you hate about what do you hate about dating? I'm gonna say probably, but what do you hate about it? Let me think back. Yeah, I also think that with the alienation and isolation that capitalist society produces, not only is it forcing people to basically be in relationships to pay the rent, but it also forces people lose the ability to socialize, or they're never taught it. And what happens is a lot of people, happened to me when I was a young lad, you as soon as you get an itty bitty amount of attention, you're like, yep, that's my person. And you ignore some severe red flags that come up. Like for me, I ignored, obvious mental health issues, abusive issues. I didn't know how to handle my own red flags and my own mental health issues. And it just became an unsafe situation for everybody involved. And that plays out almost constantly. Just about every female person I know has been in some sort of abusive dynamic. It's ridiculous.
there's also the fact that capitalism kind of reinforces this notion of milestones. Like, if by a certain point you're supposed to be a certain type of person, you're supposed to be at a certain level of development, financially, socially, anything like that. And it can make it difficult in the dating world if you're of a certain age and you have not met those milestones, those perceived milestones at the very least, which can then further alienate you and feel as if, oh, well, I'm not good enough, so I don't have anything to offer. And then the byproduct of that feeling is, one, Marx talks about alienation in the capitalist system in general, from the worker to the means of production, but that has the subsequent consequence of feeling alienated from each other. And if you don't feel like you're good enough, then you don't feel like you can date. You don't feel like you are worthy necessarily of a partner, which can get you into negative thinking. And then when something like the manosphere and red pill content comes up, at least for men, I'm speaking from a male experience, cis male experience, makes you susceptible to that.
Yeah, and I think coming from like the femme presenting side, like what you mentioned, Ivan, like how you're phrasing it for like the like kind of the masculine men side of dating. I think for a lot of women, like when we start dating, especially as we get older, like we are trying to sell ourselves, but only almost always in a physical aspect. We have to be thin, we have to be pretty, we can't have wrinkles, we have to show that we can still have kids, all these kinds of things. Like we are literally being forced, when it comes to dating under capitalism, to commodify ourselves, to become a product to be sold to people. And because we get told from even a young age that, a lot of ways, like you hit 35, you're useless. No man will want to date you after that. Oh, you're gaining weight because, a lot of women do gain weight as they go older.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. You start getting wrinkles, like, oh, you are unvaluable. So you're more likely to fall into this line of like, I have to stay with someone who's harmful to me because no one else will value me. Or I have to take someone who doesn't meet these type of goals that I have for myself because they're the only person that will value me.
It's the concept of settling for someone, right? Like, Brian, I saw a post. There's like a person on TikTok, and she talks about dating from like a bisexual experience, like her experience dating both men and women. And she'll like stitching's not really a thing on TikTok anymore, I don't think. She like records and then responds to something. But there was one video in particular, I cannot remember this creator's name, by the way. That's why I'm not saying it.
You're good, bro.
But they were talking, like in the video that she was stitching was like the perspective of a man and woman in the dating sphere, and the guy, he was very red pill. So like, and she was like, I don't agree with this guy, but it brought up a point where he was talking about like how much money he had, how tall he was, his physical fitness and attributes. And he was like, yeah, I'm a real man because I can pull all these women. And the woman came back and was like, well, I don't see you as high quality man because you're not relationship material. And it goes to like the two different things. Like a lot of men are engaged in if I can pull a lot of women, I can get a lot of dates, I can get that first date, I'm good, I'm a high quality man. Whereas a lot of women and femme presenting people on the other end are like, they don't have a problem getting the date. The date part is easy. You go on Tinder, you swipe right, and you probably have like 50 matches. But keeping someone long term that's actually willing to respect you and engage is a lot harder to get. And it's two completely different perspectives that men and women tend to deal with.
Absolutely. For sure. Good insight, gang. Good insight.
Wow, we're so good at this, everybody. Like, wow, everyone glaze us.
Come to us for dating advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
play the communist dating game. Whoa! Please don't.
I don't want to hear about your relationships.
Yeah. I don't mean a relationship.
Okay. You know what?
Go ahead.
You know what? Go off. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna pop off. You communists on TikTok, way too fucking horny. Keep it in your goddamn pants. I don't need to hear who you're dating, who you're DMing, or anything like that. Stick to the mission. If you're dating someone, cool. I don't need to hear about someone blowing your back out. I don't need to hear about any of that shit. Like, fucking keep it in your goddamn pants.
Holy hell, bro. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all, bro.
You are all way too horny, and it feels like I'm at a fucking anime convention. And like, goddamn.
No, bro, it's so fucking true. It's so true. And like one of the things I hate too, and I can already see the argument, right? But like that communists would make, where they would be like, but I'm just trying to show that I'm human. There's a lot of ways you can do that, bro. I'm sorry, not everybody is as chronically horny as you. So like one of the things I hate is like when somebody will be like, you guys already know, you guys are gonna.
Do you know why?
When someone's in a relationship with somebody on TikTok, whatever that means, and they're like making posts about that person, and like they're making posts about each other, and I'm like, are you guys in the 6th grade? What is happening right now? Like, I don't know. I don't think maybe that's the conservative side of me, champ, but like, hey, I just don't think it needs to be advertised. I just don't.
Ivan, are you ready to do some theater with me?
Yes, let's do it.
Good. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's a TikTok sound. If you know the TikTok sound, please follow along. Do you know I had to punish you earlier?
Yeah.
Why did I have to punish you earlier?
Because I bit you.
Because you bit me?
Yeah. So stupid, bro.
I'm leaving.
That's what half of you sound like. All fucking time.
like unironic, like not now, kitchen whiskers, daddy's working. Like, stop. Oh, you know what? While we're at it, bro. Here's mine. Stop sending each other feet pics.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop.
You're a freak. I'm shaming you.
Where's the 100%. GIF of Stalin? Where's this? There's a GIF of like Stalin. Is it GIF or GIF? That's a different argument.
I don't care.
But Stalin just like,
just
looking
like
off to the side.
Yeah.
Just that's how I feel listening to half of you talk.
For real. But like, stop sending your feet. It's weird, bro.
I don't want to see them.
I don't want to see them. First off, and like, okay, well, it's funny because like. It's not though. Like, you're actually just coming off as like a loser, and I've brought this up so many times before on this stupid show. Like, you are. It's my show. I can call it stupid.
It is.
What was I gonna say? Like, I lost my train of thought.
It's fine.
Okay, like again, I've said this over and over and over again. You claim to be a communist, right? Okay. So the things you say and the things you do are reflective of your principles. So when you're out here being a freak about feet, you're sending this message that you're a fucking weirdo, bro. Like, stop. When people see that, like, it's just weird, dude.
I don't care if you're into feet. I really don't
know about it.
I don't need a TikTok live that goes on for 30 minutes talking about it.
Not everything you do in your life needs to be on the internet.
If anything, I think we've learned over the past 10 years, you should not put every thought you have online. Nope. Sometimes you need to keep it to yourself.
I agree.
But have either of you ever used dating apps?
Yeah.
No, actually, surprisingly.
I was like, because Nico, I feel like because you said 10 years you've been in this relationship. Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you.
But that's like kind of the prime dating app. Like, range, like how long they've been prevalent. I personally, I'm single, everyone, by the way, in case you didn't know. Wink.
You can't tell them they're too horny and then advertise yourself, Cruz.
I can be a little horny. It's fine.
With the wings and everything.
With the Jeff Goldblum style.
Below my head.
but like it really feels as if you're shopping for a relationship.
Oh yeah.
And I was on dating apps after my marriage fell apart. I was on dating apps for maybe a month. Maybe a month I attempted the dating apps, and I was just like so grossed out by how it felt like I was shopping. And the people that I did match with, it more or less, I felt like a car salesman. And where I'm like, hey, here's what I can do. I felt like I was trying to sell myself. Nico, you said it earlier, where women have to sell themselves sort of on their looks and their age, fertility, and what they can do around the house. I felt like I had to sell myself on the only physical attribute I felt like I had to sell myself on was height. And then the rest of it was financial. Like, how much money do I make? That was what it felt like for me. Granted, I'm sure everyone has a different experience, obviously, but that's what it felt like for me in my area.
Yeah. For me, it was, I mean, I've always sold myself on my sense of humor.
Ivan and Cruz are over.
Yeah. But yeah, I went through a pretty big breakup about 2 years ago. Did a dating app thing, and one of the first things you notice when you go on those apps, and it's specifically geared to get men to subscribe to these apps. So the way it works is usually they're free, but if you want to see if somebody liked your profile, you have to pay money, X amount of money per week, in order to access that. Unless you match with somebody and they already liked you, then you get to see it. Now for women,
or you pay for the super likes,
right? So for women, it seems to be most likely that you would get a lot more likes than men would, because men are a tragedy. So the chances of you already like finding somebody in that profile are a lot higher than would be for a guy. And especially a lonely incel type of guy is going to pay that $7.99 a week to be able to see whatever, or pay for the super likes. So your likes go in like front of the line, so to say. So your profile gets seen sooner rather than later. And then usually people who use dating apps use more than one app at a time. So now $7.99 becomes $14.99, becomes whatever. And you're paying a pretty significant amount of money a week to, just try to see if strangers like you or not. Doesn't guarantee you're going to get anything. But for me, a lot of it sort of...
And that's not even including bots, by the way. There's lots of bot accounts on those things. Especially with the rise of AI. But continue.
No, I was just going to say, so for me, the sort of the obstacle that started to come up was like, I think this should be normal, relatively, if you're a principled communist, is as I started to match with people and talk to people, when it became very clear that they were not even a leftist, just very liberal pilled, it's like, how do I sell to this person that I'm a radical terrorist extremist? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow for some people, you know what I mean? And then on the other end of it, you get a group of people who find that, very, exciting, and they kind of don't take what you're saying very seriously. And as you guys should know, as you venture into this foray, it becomes more and more dangerous and has real consequences. And how do you convince somebody, hey, what would you do if the ATF raided my house? Woo, you know what I mean? Like, and that's a real fucking thing. But
the brief amount of time that I did date, last date I went on, I was talking about this in our Discord the other day. It's like the last time I went on a date was over a year ago now. And I kind of had to say to them, say, hey, ultimately, end of the day, the cause is where my heart is. Like, You're always going to be second. And it's kind of a shitty thing to say, but I'm also being very honest. Like, ultimately, my love of the people outweighs my love of you. So like, if you're on board with that, cool. If you're not, then you're not the love of my life. And like, that's just where I am, which is not compatible with the capitalist mode of dating.
It's not, because they want you, capitalism wants you to get on that dating app with your super likes and get married, spend a bunch of money on this marriage, pop out some kids that you don't really love, and get a bitter divorce and do it again. And it's not compatible with being a communist.
With arms wide open.
What are you doing?
This is divorced dad rock, obviously.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say real quick, because you're talking about dating apps and how transactional they are. Sometimes I think being in a relationship for 10 years, I started to realize like pretty quickly that even though I'm happy in my relationship and not interested in like finding someone else, how much other people's, particularly cis men, all of a sudden you're invisible as a person because you're not dateable. You're not sellable to them anymore, so they have no interest in you being a person whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I deal with a lot, being someone
Absolutely
in a relationship.
I think I made more friends on Tinder than I did dates. Because I was just like, oh, you seem like a cool person. I don't want to date you. Like, I don't think we'd vibe dating wise, but I want to hang out.
One of the things that we pride ourselves at Collective is that I think our Discord is way safer for female and femme presenting comrades to come and interact.
We hope. We hope
that's
Please
true. If
otherwise.
it's not, you can call us out for sure. But or just let us know, tag us, But anyway, my point is, you're right, Nico, because when even within our own movement, when people find out that you're married and unavailable, either they ignore you or they'll wait for a moment to somehow insult you about that, because you are now an extension of this other thing, this other person, and you have no value to them, which is directly not compatible with Marxism.
Yeah.
So I mentioned earlier that there was a book I wanted to bring up. And it came out a few years ago. I've read it one time. I feel like I need to read it again. And I know it was pretty popular on TikTok when I first got on TikTok. It would get brought up every now and again. But it's called Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism and Other Arguments for Economic Independence. And the whole crux of the book was some anthropologist. What is their name? Kristen Godsey. Basically interviewed people in Eastern Europe, East Germany and West Germany and Scandinavia, like countries that had at one time been communist and then weren't communist. And then trying to analyze the difference in dating between socialist systems and capitalist systems. Socialist systems and capitalist systems. You know what I meant. And if I remember correctly, the overall finding was that because the financial burden had been lifted under socialism and communist systems, women didn't feel as though they had to have a man in order to survive. They had access to the full scope of society on their own. Regardless, they were able to marry and date for love and because they actually like a person, which ultimately, leads to better sexual encounters and long-term relationship encounters. Obviously, the title of the book is meant to grab your attention.
Are you saying that if a society was actually provided for people, that people could like each other for the personality instead of posting their dirty ass fucking feet on TikTok?
Yeah, so I'm going to look directly into the camera. I think I'm looking into the camera. You tell me otherwise.
You are.
Hey, men, young men, red pill men, if you respect women, your life is way fucking better. Hold on, let me get into the correct view for TikTok as well, because I know I'm on the correct view for YouTube, TikTok. You're different.
You're fine. You're good.
I'm looking good. Respect women. They will like you more. And that's it. That's all you got to do. It's not fucking hard, dude.
Let me do mine. Ready?
Okay, okay. Zoom in on you. Lock in.
Stop posting your feet on TikTok. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. Fucking freak. Stop it. And I'm not talking about sex workers and people who enjoy doing that, or they make that as like a career. I'm talking about specifically a male. Stop. All right.
Stop with the feet. Unless someone asks for your feet. If someone asks for your feet, send your feet all day.
No, because a lot of those people who are asking are also other freak dudes. So like, no.
That's true. You know what? You're right. I'm corrected in my statement. I hope everyone knows what I mean.
You got a dramatic zoom in you want to do, Nico?
I can't think of one right now. I think you both covered what. I mean, I would have been like, don't show me feet. Don't show feet. I'm good. So that's all I would have to say.
The key is consent.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Lumpy, I see your comment and I hate you for that.
I'm trying to. I saw Lumpy's comment and I was just like, yeah, their name's Meat. I was just like, that's not a name. That's not a name.
I'm not even telling you, bro. I'm not even telling you where the feet are. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Oh boy. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rip.
Mm.
Isn't that wild?
Oh shit! I completely forgot another thing I wanted to talk about. It's not related to what we were talking about. So, well, actually, it might be. So Zohran Mamdani met with Donald Trump.
I saw that video
this afternoon. Boy, howdy. And the conversation went very well between the two star-crossed lovers. I'm just going to show the clip. I'm going to play it twice so you can fully hear it because you might miss it the first time. Here we go.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, are you?
I beg your finest pardon.
Right.
What the fuck was that?
That I don't know how everyone else felt. Like when I heard that earlier today, it felt very patronizing to me, where it's like Trump going, "Oh yeah, I'm a fascist. I know you think I'm a fascist, but nothing you say is going to change that. I'm in power." Mm-hmm. That's how I interpreted it. I'm curious what you guys thought. What y'all thought?
I don't think it's that malicious. I think Donald Trump really likes charisma and like somebody who like can stand toe to toe in his own bullshit. So I feel like in a lot of ways, Donald Trump today is very happy about Zohran, but like at the same time, Donald Trump's the same kind of person who would not realize that this is the same Zohran Mamdani from New York City. You know what I'm saying? So like, okay. I can definitely see by tomorrow him talking about the communist takeover of New York City again. What do you think, Nico?
It almost, for me, when I was watching that, it's almost like he saw Mamdani and was like, "This is my little sweetheart." Like, yeah, you can call me.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
Okay, like, I love you. It's all right. Like you're one of the good ones. But yeah, I'm actually a fascist. Haha, isn't it so funny?
Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. I mean, just look at how happy he is to be looking at him, bro.
Really?
Like what?
He looks smitten, like completely smitten.
Maybe they're gonna date.
Copulist dating system.
Copulist?
What?
Copulist?
Copulation?
I can't talk.
So a lot of people are really upset about Zohran Mamdani over the last 2 days because yesterday or the day before, Zohran had said that now is not the time for people to challenge the Democratic primary, Hakeem Jeffries. I think people are forgetting that Zohran Mamdani, like, one, Democratic socialist, and if you're watching a Marxist podcast for the last hour, I would hope you would know the difference at this point. Aren't communists. Mm-hmm. They aren't socialists, and while Zoran has outlined a lot of potential for New York City's life to be improved, which is an objectively good thing, and we should back him up on those particular issues, Zoran is not a communist, or at least they haven't shown the evidence of which. They don't seem to believe in the ending and abolishing of capitalism. So why are people surprised that he is backing the Democratic line when a lot of the Democrats are going to support him at the end of the day, particularly Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, who is also a Democrat? Just because these Democrats battle Trump occasionally doesn't mean that they are socialists. So while I understand on a baseline, like, why we would be annoyed at Zoran, because, like, you know, he's a Democrat, but like, he's a Democrat. I mean, what did you guys expect? It's like, this shouldn't be surprising. This shouldn't even be disappointing. We should have expected to see this.
Yeah, just like with anyone, like, he can run on whatever policies he wants, and the policies he's put forth would, like you said, be a net positive for New York City. But it remains to be seen if those policies actually go into effect, to what degree, how much bureaucracy challenges them, and how, I think, most importantly, how much he concedes to the Democratic Party, because ultimately he is going to be funded by the Democratic Party.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
He only has, like, as much as the Democratic Party fought against him during the primaries, he's their guy now. So, like, he either capitulates to them or goes completely against them and loses their backing. Now, if he, best case scenario, he manages to put forth a lot of those policies, the Democrats turn on him, he runs later on as a independent candidate or a new party candidate, gets elected again, and he's separated from that. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he just goes the AOC route and just capitulates and becomes another Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let me just point it out. Today, the House was voting on to basically condemn socialism again, which, I mean, I don't know why I don't know why they do that, but it's pointless. But, you know, just again, should put in your brain that communism is the enemy, and someone's going to clip that. That's hilarious. But for the Democrats and the capitalists, 86 Democrats voted for the bill to condemn socialism. They're not communists, guys. They're never going to be communists.
They're capitalists.
But man, look at those dentures, man. He's just so happy to.
He is.
This guy.
He is ecstatic.
He's cheesing it, bro.
Yes, for real.
Zoran v. Trump fanfic win.
Hopefully never.
Stop with the purring, bro. What are you doing?
No, I can subject everyone to my Arthur Morgan impression when he's talking to his horse.
Don't do that.
Oh God.
Easy, girl.
Brother.
And with that, I think we're at the end.
Yeah, I think we are. I was thinking about the episode from Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Dennis is trying to get the 5-star rating on the dating apps, and he starts freaking out and he's like harassing these women. He's yelling at them at the bar. And he's like, "I'm a 5-star man," and it's like that's what y'all sound like.
It's a great example because I hate Dennis. I hate him so much. Gives me the
I love to hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I just hate him.
Again, at the end of the show, please go to our friend here, their Cash App. They need 640 smackaroons before November 24th in order to prevent eviction. So please go ahead and support them if you have anything to give. They would appreciate that. If you were in that situation, you would want it too. All right, gang. I think we did the thing. Me and Cruz are going to go on a date now. Here's that Cash App, by the way. Where would you take me on a date?
Disneyland.
Bourgeois fuck.